Ariel Helwani in Sydney, Australia, getting ready for UFC 127 alongside Jon Fitch, who faces BJ Penn live this Saturday night on pay-per-view. And Jon, good to see you again. I know this is your second time here you were doing the promotional stuff. Now you're here for Fight Week. How's Australia treating you?
Australia's treating me awesome. First, I have to say I'm blown away by your cameraman's T-shirt, the
Really?
Boys to Men T-shirt.
It is old school.
I am very impressed with that. That's nice, nice touch.
You just made his day.
Yeah, but Australia's been awesome. Yeah, I did the press tour back in December, and it's been just as great here. It's good food, good people, enjoying myself, good weather. It was cold
interesting.
and rainy in San Francisco when we left, so
Kind of cold now and rainy, but
yeah.
I know what you mean. It's gonna get better.
It's gonna get better.
Interesting you mentioned the food. You've been very much on this sort of food kick, and I have to say, I've been loving the video blogs. But what I love most about your video blog, in particular the one where you talked about your diet, I love that sort of documentary voice, that narrator voice. Like, I wake up in the morning, you're kind of like, you're whispering, but it's very soothing. Talk to me about how you developed that voice. It's very good.
Well, I noticed that it was kind of like my wife kind of talked me into it a little bit because my videos weren't that ripping. They're kind of hard to follow because they were just kind of like moving slideshows.
Right.
That's only so entertaining for so long. After like 100 or so videos, you've got to step up you need to evolve.
Right.
It's just like mixed martial arts. You can't stay the same. You need to evolve. So if I need people coming to my channel and checking my stuff out, I needed to evolve. So I added the narration to kind of paint a better outline of what's going on in the story. So, along with that, I also started playing background music on my ukulele. And
That's you.
That's me, yes. Wow. And I'm not that good, but good enough to play background music. But yeah, and it kind of makes it easier to tell a story when you're actually able to vocalize what's going on.
So are you a one-man band here? Are you shooting this, editing it, all that?
Yeah, it's Jon Fitch Productions right there.
And maybe this can evolve into some sort of career after MMA.
Maybe it's fun to do. I have fun with it, and the wife has easier time watching me do that than sit and play video games all day.
And you're very lucky. Not only is she a great woman, but apparently a great cook, right? She's helping you out a lot.
Helps me out a lot. She runs the store. The thing with the organic diet and eating a lot of more fruits and vegetables is that the stuff doesn't stay as ripe very long. So you got to go to the store like 2 times a week. Wow. So it would run me down to have to work out the way I do and have to keep going to the store. So her going to the store and preparing meals for me is a big help. And she's already said she's not cooking for like a month after this fight.
She needs a break.
Yeah, she needs a break.
One last thing,
which is all right with me. I'll cook for her for a little while.
She deserves it, of course. One last thing on the tech side before we get to the fight. Twitter, I was honored when I was number 2 on the follower list. Then you upped it to 3. Is this sort of a sign of things to come, maybe 1 every 6 months or so?
Yeah, I'm going to start adding more of my teammates. I actually had 4 for like an hour. But if I added Phil Baroni, and I had to drop Phil because he texts like every other second. And he was running my phone battery down because every time I get a Facebook or a Twitter text or message, it would buzz my phone, and after a while my phone kept dying. I said, "What's wrong with my battery?" And I realized that it was Phil Baroni's his tweeting.
All those inspirational messages, it blew up your phone.
Yeah.
So you dropped him. Did you tell him that you dropped him? Because I would imagine he would be pretty sad.
Yeah. No. Well, I think he knows.
Yeah. Who's number 3?
I just added Cormier.
Daniel
Cormier, yeah.
He's not as aggressive with his tweets.
Aggressive, yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 a day is all right. I mean, you have a lot, but you're a media and you're always doing something. It's sometimes just tweeting just to tweet is uncalled for.
Right. I agree. Okay, let's get to the fight. It's a huge fight for you. You were supposed to fight Ellenberger. They gave you this new fight to be in the main event against BJ Penn, a legend. Originally, when you were first offered it, what did you think? Was it a no-brainer? Take this fight. This is a big deal for me.
Yeah, I was in shock for a second, but it was absolutely a no-brainer. Main event, and against a legend like BJ Penn, I had to take it. I felt bad pulling out of the fight with Ellenberger because I've been in that up-and-coming position before where the main event guys would refuse to fight me and would avoid me at any length, and I'd hate to do that to another guy. That's why I'd never turn down a fight, even if they don't have a big name. I'll still take the fight. But it's just an opportunity I couldn't pass up on.
So now, at this stage of your career and where you are in the rankings and all that stuff, you said something very interesting on your diary on our site, MMAfighting.com, comparing yourself to Tiger Woods, how he had to take a step back to sort of take 2 steps forward in his evolution as a golfer, not with the other stuff. At first I thought that's where you were going. Is this sort of going to be the moment where you do take those 2 steps forwards in your mind?
I think so. I mean, the way this training camp went, the way I'm performing my training camp, the way my skill set is coming off for this training camp, I think this is where that new swing is finally going to start ripping the ball, and I'm going to start producing a lot better fights.
What is it, more specifically? What can we expect to see that will be
putting
different?
Everything together. I mean, you know, come from a wrestling background, and you're used to, you know, a good example is when I fought Paul Tiago. There's a few times where I landed really good combinations, a good punch, where if I would have kept the distance and thrown another punch, I could have ended the fight. But my instinct as a wrestler was to close the distance and clinch. Well, sometimes you have to get rid of that instinct to clinch. And be aware of, you know, keeping that distance to where you can utilize your skill set and finish the fight.
I find this to be such a fascinating fight because of your great takedowns and his great takedown defense. And in the Countdown show, you said that you want this to be sort of like a grind, a war, 15 minutes, all that stuff, which sort of raised a red flag in a lot of people's minds because it's like, well, that's what we usually expect from Jon Fitch. So is it going to be, in a sense, sort of the same Jon Fitch type of attack out there?
No, I mean, it's a more refined attack, with, you know, a more seamless effort towards the finish. You know, trying to finish before, but maybe emphasizing the control aspect of it too much. This is a topic with like Cormier we were talking about, or even when Phil Baroni had his last UFC fight. You know, he took the guy down and had good control of the guy, but he had him hurt with the one punch he dropped him with, and if he would have given up a little bit of control and thrown a little bit more punches while he had him in the fence, he maybe could have finished the fight right then. It's one of those type of things. It's part of that, removing part of the wrestling instinct and getting more of the full fight instinct instilled into you.
An interesting storyline going into this fight is your jiu-jitsu coach, Dave Camarillo, had a very close relationship with BJ.
It still does. I mean, they're still friends. They still talk. They still text message each other. So, I mean, yeah, it gives me an intimate look into BJ's mindset, his training, and his abilities, having not only Dave but Javier Mendez too, who trained him for a couple years with his stand-up. You know, but at this time, at this level in our game, in careers, like when you're fighting main event guys who have been around as long as I and BJ have, you kind of already know everything anyways. There's not a lot of secrets left after you've had, you know, 10, 15, almost 20 fights in the UFC.
That's actually not where I was going with that question, but I appreciate you interrupting me. He actually said that makes him believe that he knows more about you than you know about him because he knows how they're going to train you for him. Do you see where he's going with that?
You know, I can see how he would think that, but a lot has changed at our gym, and we're working with different people that have been around that weren't around when he was there. We have a lot more resources than were there before.
And final question, and I know you were probably expecting me to ask this about the whole title situation, and I know you're going to say that you're only focused on BJ, but it's an interesting situation because let's just say GSP does win in April. The UFC wants him to move up to fight Anderson Silva. Do you think you'll be fighting for a title regardless of whether or not he wins or loses in that fight, whether it's going to be another fight against him, one against Shields, or maybe for the vacant title?
I mean, I honestly have not thought anything about it. I haven't been on the internet. I haven't been reading anything. You know, honestly, yesterday was the first time I even heard or saw anything about him moving up in a weight class. I don't care. All that matters to me is BJ Penn right now.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's just one-track mind. I've got the blinders on, and there's only one thing in front of me, and that's really all that matters.
And just so we're clear, what are we doing with the facial hair? Are we going full beard?
Yeah, we're going full beard. I got my war face on. I'm prepared to go head-to-head and battle with BJ for 15 minutes.
And then shave it after, right after, before the press conference.
The wife would not stick around too long with that, with this thing on my face.
All right, Jon. Well, best of luck to you. We look forward to it this Saturday night on pay-per-view from the Acer Arena in Sydney, Australia. Jon Fitch going up against BJ Penn. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.